I want to talk about the life of Pi. Great movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you watched all of it and watched it thoughtfully. There are two storylines here. This young boy is given a worldview by his mother that incorporates an origin story of fantastic gods, the Hindu religion. Um, and as he grows up, he finds an affinity, a connection, a yearning to know more about, perhaps to follow the Christian Christ on the cross, the suffering Christ. And he wants to learn about that. These are conflicting and incompatible views. So there's this conflict that's presented in him as he matures into adulthood. The other storyline is more material based, where you have the father's work, the zoo, Richard Parker the tiger, the move from India to America, the shipwreck, the sinking of the ship, and Pi on the lifeboat with others. All right. So yes, the middle part of the movie, the heart of it is going to be this survival experience, but it's set in the larger frame of an attempt to understand deeper issues of life, especially as they are articulated in religion. Questions like, why are we here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? Who made us? Are we matter or are we mental? How do the two interact? At the very end, Pi is asked to recount the story. Now, notice that the movie sets it up for him to be recounting or giving testimony in two ways. The whole movie is an act of testimony as he is relating this to his visitor. But Pi, the young man who is discovered and rescued and brought to health in that hospital after months after his um, survival at sea, he's got a story to tell as well. Insurance agents come. They've got to submit, if you will, the official version of what happened to the ship. They're going to talk to the sole survivor. They have one story already submitted that to them seems fantastical. They want to re-question and maybe get another story. Now, Pi senses this and gives them a story that makes much more sense in terms of everyday material existence. He was on the lifeboat with other humans, the cook and others. And then, because of the stress and the strain of just survival, people died, people were eaten, and at the end, it's Pi that killed the cook, and that has lived to tell the tale. Now that's the story he gives the insurance agents, thinking that that's what they want to hear. But at the very end of the movie, you get to discover that they've chosen the other story as the official version. My question to you is, why do you think they chose that second story? Well, what I mean by second, the really the first telling of the events where it was the tiger in the boat, and the tiger with Pi forms a bond that is a safe bond. The tiger is not going to eat Pi. They work together. In fact, the tiger might be a certain guide for Pi, and the tiger seems to connect to cosmic places. Seems to be more than just an animal. Um, this is something that brings hope into the mundane or the sublunary. Sublunary just means under the moon, and everything that's Earth. Um, if we had no belief in anything beyond the moon, I mean, how we would have issues, we would have problems that we would have to overcome in terms of, well, what's the meaning of it all? If we are dust returning to dust, and that is truly it, if we are truly only matter, that somehow has learned how to have these brief moments of deluded self-identity, then why are we not of most men most to be pitied? Why do we even want to procreate, to carry on the species? Why do we want to send bronze discs into space with recordings, with um, glyphics telling space races what we look like, and mathematical principles and recordings of our classical music? We want something more. Everybody does. Some people do not have the faith for that. Some do. And it's not a matter of belief. These are presuppositions. Some people are drawn and utterly comfortable in embracing the truth, to them, the truth of life after death, with a God that has given them meaning in life. Others, as much as they might want meaning that way and eternal life, do not have the power to believe. And their presuppositions are different. This is when you are dealing with presuppositions, you are dealing with powerful first starting statements that brook no challenge with logic. What I mean by that is because they are the starting points of your worldview, you cannot tinker with them with reason, evidence, or logic. They are the ones that give evidence and reason the meaning that they have. It's not the other way around. These are the starting spots. These are the first principles. These are the rules of logic, if you will, or the rules of self-awareness or of an understanding of existence. And you can't have rules for the rules. The rules, it ends there. The buck stops there. So presuppositions are incredibly powerful statements that are the core beliefs around which everything else is built. Now, when you build upon these beliefs, you can cross build, you can fix issues and problems, you can have some contradictions in your building that you can resolve and fix, but not the presuppositions. The presuppositions are foundational, and it takes um, power from outside of your mind to change those views. And when you are presented one story that all of a sudden suggests that there is an experience beyond the physical, maybe there is something in you that knows that that is true, and you pick it. And that's The Life of Pi. So I do hope you enjoyed the movie. I hope you watched it with intention and carefully. Everything that we bring into the Associate of Arts program is brought in with there's a careful selected process in terms of how does this fit? Does it illustrate what we wanted to illustrate? When I say we, I'm talking about myself and some close friends that are developing this with me as I talk to them about it, giving me feedback. What lessons do we want people to learn here? What material can best deliver that lesson? And can this material model what this person in the program is going to have to do when they are out of formal education if they want to keep on growing? They're going to have to get involved with better movies, with better books that capture their attention, create interest, maintain it, reward it by making them think deeper thoughts about deeper matters. It goes beyond just entertainment. These items are entertaining, but they are doing so much more. I could have easily picked a documentary on Descartes' dualism, or sent you some infographics and asked you to listen to a recorded lecture from this school or that school. Or there are 100 of these videos online. Why did I decide to go through Life of Pi? I want to remind you that it's the material that makes this whole process work. And once you figure out how to pick the material and how to design the next steps for your own personal growth, you can do this for decades after you leave us. Not so that you can become smarter than your peers or have another certificate or another credential or another goal to achieve, but because you begin to realize that you were made to look for the truth concerning core questions about how to live in this world. What does it mean to have a life lived well? What does it mean to love? What about loving unconditionally? What does it mean to have faith? When so many other faiths are out there, who's to say which one is right? What does it mean to say this one is right and the others are not? If you're going to be exclusive like that, if you're not going to be exclusive like that, didn't you just slip down to a deeper level where you have presuppositions and statements that are exclusive? Because at that deeper level, you were saying perhaps faith in X, Y, or Z doesn't necessarily matter. The content doesn't matter, but faith itself matters. And if you don't have faith, you're not going to make it. Well, that's a type of exclusivity right there. Well, what about the people that don't believe you need faith? So there is a sense where you are trapped in saying somebody's right and somebody's wrong. That has to be the case. So you need to, with empathetic partnership and dimensional thinking, the two of the goals that we have here, try to live a life of fair and objective and proper investigation. If there is a God, if there is life after death, if there is a soul, you need to seek that and pursue after it to find it, to find those answers in a way that whatever answer comes, if it's the honest answer, you embrace it. I believe that is what it is to seek with integrity and to knock aggressively at the door of ultimate questions to see if the door will open, to ask for guidance and to pursue it. So there is something much deeper here than just getting you ready for the job market. We're trying to get you ready for life, and life involves these questions if you want to be the thing you were made to be. So I hope that you do think about these things and give the material a chance to work.